You know, the first half, they made some nice catches on third down that kept drives continued. First drive, and we had coverage, and we just it was close, and then they went for it one time and got it. Second half, we sort of at halftime, I sort of had it figured out what they were doing. We changed the coverage, and it was very beneficial for us. Actually, I was late getting to it. I should have got to it earlier in the game, and I think I probably could have taken 10 points off of it. I thought the play of the game, honest to goodness, was the scramble when he threw the ball to Lindsey. Obviously we missed the sack, and one of our backers came out of coverage, but the play of the game was Chase Lucas running down Lindsey, and then we immediately got a stop there, and really felt like we had a chance to win the game. It went 30-27, and then our offense took over. It was a huge play.
Chase Lucas has 12 tackles on that night.
Who did?
Chase Lucas.
Chase Lucas, yes.
12 tackles, 11 of them solo. What do you see for the future of him as a contributing player?
He's in a growth process. I told you, I don't know if you were in here, but he scares me because sometimes he comes up to me, he goes, "Man, you ought to see what I could do at running back." Still, I mean, to this day, and just, but he's growing. I'll tell you something. Coach Rushing and myself really challenged him last week because we felt like against SC he lost his composure, got out of his game, missed tackles. A lot of people lost their composure that game. And I think he came back and played and played under control, and he played within the system. So, yeah, I thought he played well.
So the number of pressures that you had from your guys in your front just getting after the quarterback has really been something. Is that giving you more confidence in only rushing 3 and 4 guys?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you've got to do is you got to be versatile enough to do both. There's times that when people run what I call flood routes, you've got to drop more than what they have. And being at Baylor, I'd never done that before the last 6 or 7 years. But watching the Big 12 and the things I was having to defend, and I told Todd this. I said, I think it will be good in this league too, and it has been good. But you still have to. You still can't give somebody forever and a day back there. I thought the kid last week was a good. I mean, he made some nice throws. I mean, throws that you just sit there and you say, okay, you got us on that. One of the touchdowns down the one to the 1 yard line. Once again, almost at the same spot that Darnold threw that ball. We had double coverage. And he put the ball third down right there. So I think you got to vary it.
What about just the play of Tayshaun or AJ, Joja? Are they playing their best ball of the year?
I told him the other day is we're not in the beginning of the season or the middle. We're wrapping this thing, and since 1972 I've been involved in college football. 73. And there's been that saying, I know Todd's told the kids, people remember November. And that's been our stress to these kids. And, a D lineman takes a lot of plays. You know it. Y'all have asked me why they play so much. Tayshaun really played lights out last week. A couple of times he knocked back the whole line. There was a third down one time that he knocked the center back who ran into the puller, who ran into the running back. You remember the play I'm talking about? I mean, he just got a great get off. And they're a little bit, we're to be quite honest, I'm probably a little bit more lenient right now in practice about how far they run after a play, to a play, just for the fact that I know, there's some wear and tear going on.
Coach, what about Chase Lucas and just how he's developed it? You saw us talk about that with him, but just like you told us before, he's told you he's wanted to be a running back, and now we see him excelling in the secondary.
Yeah, I think I just told them. I think that he's still a work in progress. I don't think he knows how good he can be. You know, I've been fortunate enough to coach some great corners. And I mean, guys that have played 14, 15, 16 years in the league. You know, and he reminds me of Terrence Newman. You know, I had Terrence. Terrence thought he was a track guy. You know, Terrence's goal wasn't to be a football player. It was to be an Olympian sprinter. And, you know, I think that maturity, you know, I'm constantly on him. You know, sometimes, you know, like today, he looks at me, you know, it's like your children. It's like my son who's a GA here. Sometimes he'll look at me and say, Sam, have you done this? Have you done that? You know, he'll look at me like, God, leave me alone. But I thought last week, you know, he really, you know, put a game together. And I said earlier, you know, he lost his composure against SC, and it hurt us. And I think that's what kind of kid he is. He's a really good kid, and it's important to him that he doesn't hurt this team. So I think he'll continue to grow. I think the sky's the limit if he stays positive.
Lost his composure how? Just getting caught up in talking, or just not saying this?
No, he's not a big talker. Just the focus of number 80 and 21 early on. There was a play that probably should have been a penalty, and Chase was right. They picked him up after the play and slung him down, and it was a physical thing, and it should have been a penalty, and they agreed with us. I believe. I'm not positive, but you know, just the focus, you know, the chatter, and you know, you look at the great ones, you look at the ones, and what we have done most of the year. And we did Saturday. I was very, very proud of our guys. When the score, you know, we got down to 3, went back to 7. You know, Kobe gave up the slant and go, and just our demeanor. You know, our kids didn't talk. Number 9, when he knocked Daz out. I don't know if you saw that, but he was beating his chest and telling him, "I'm going to get you." You know, our kids never lost focus. They said, you know, but they were grinding. I think it says a lot about, you know, the type of guys we have.
Facing a team this week that might not have the elite running backs you guys have faced, but has a very good quarterback. What do you adjust playing a team or an offense you haven't really seen one like them this year?
Well, I'm going to correct you. I mean, those running backs they recruited, they were elite when they recruited them. You know, I recruited So-So a long time. You know, I know what kind of player he is. But you know, it's and I know this sounds cliche, but it doesn't change. You try to do the same thing every week, and that's to make offenses predictable. And when you make an offense predictable, you can do some things, you know, to stop the pass. Hey, if you can't stop the run, which you saw Saturday night, you're not going to win. You know, look at the games that you know. Go back to Stanford, go back to San Diego State. Go back to USC. You know, you can't stop the run consistently. You know, last week I did a different approach. I looked at some different things, and I've done this a long time. I said, all right, we got to take some chances in our coverage, and it hurt us a little bit in coverage. But you know, but I didn't think it would be a fatal. I thought it would outweigh, you know, and I thought we played very good run defense. But I probably should have mixed it up a little bit more, you know, than I did. So it's a happy medium, you know. But you know, Rosen's a heck of a passer. If you give him a bunch of time, and he's free fall, you could get in trouble.
So it's a key then, is just getting consistent.
Yeah, yes.
And then, Coach, what are your thoughts on Tayshawn Smallwood's leadership? I'm not sure if somebody else might have already asked you this.
You know, I'll tell you something. He's a playmaker. He's not a big talker. Doesn't want to be a guy out front. Doesn't want to be a guy that gets up in front of people. You know, he's soft spoken. He's made a lot of plays for us this year. And you know what, he sometimes he doesn't know how to take me. And you know, it's you know, he'll look at, you know, I went off on him recently,
Yeah.
and it wasn't very nice. And all he'll say is something like, "I'm praying for you, Coach." Okay, thank you, Tayshawn. So, you know, get your ass off the ball and quit dragging around. Yeah, I need a few to pray for me. Yes.
Coach,
You know, he's an athlete. He's fluid, and he's a guy that we thought could do some things. He played on special teams, and actually, Coach Graham and Coach Slocum, worked with him in special teams. And Sean came to me, and said this might be something. I think he played 18, 19 plays last week and did a good job.
What do you think, Phil, seeing JJ and AJ on the field together on that third down pass?
It helped us. It helped us. Yeah, I tell you what. Now it helped us to get AJ Latou back on the field last week. No, without any question.
So you think we'll see more of that?
You'll see more of that. Yes, yes, yes.
How's Daz? Is he better? I know he was a little rattled during the game last week.
Who's that?
Daz?
He took a pretty good lick. He's still under evaluation. I think he'll be okay.
I'm going to ask you for someone who's been a coordinator for so long. When you watch Nate here, what do you see in him that stands out to you about how he does his side?
One of the things I think that he has done, we've been versatile without being, what we've done in protecting the ball is unbelievable. I mean, guys, you look at other teams in the country. I've done this a long time, and you don't protect the ball like that unless our offensive guys are getting taught what we need to get taught. I think he gets the ball to the playmakers. I think you look at Nikhil, you look at number 10. I mean, he gets the ball, and then last week, I remember on the sideline, he told me, he said we're fixing to take this thing over, and with Demo. He said and we did. I think he's versatile. We do stuff that makes people create matchups that are favorable to us. I go back to this. Todd laughs, and it's true. I told you this before. Todd is, and he's done a wonderful job. Todd tells me, he said, I'm the best consultant for the defense and the offense, and he sees things. Todd showed him things. He showed me things. Hey, this is what you got. But I think Billy and those guys have done a really good job and protecting. Right now we've struggled sometimes taking sacks, and so how do you not take sacks? You run the ball and you sort of make people think twice about how they're going to pressure you.